Hello, folks. How are you? I'm Ashna Hadikor, and I'm going live because I have tried to make this video pretty much all day today. I want to talk about the phrase that people use a lot. And I know they mean it as encouragement or as a way to remind people that everything's okay. And that phrase is, "You are enough," or "I am enough." And the reality is that I, for one, I am not enough. I don't know anyone who is. I don't. I don't have enough energy or resources or hours in the day or ability to do absolutely everything that I feel needs to be done. And some of those things are really basic things like laundry and dishes and that. And some of that is just feeling overwhelmed by the mundane and wanting to focus on other things that are maybe just more interesting or that feed our souls better. Well, right now, I am not enough. There is no way that one person can do all of the things that need to be done in a home, that one person can care for everyone and everything, physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's impossible. And it's really unfair that we put that on ourselves. It's unfair that we put that on each other. We, I think, say that you are enough or I am enough, perhaps with the intention of sounding as if you maybe it's meant as you do enough or you do a lot or what you do is sufficient or you are sufficient. I'm not. And there's a lot of freedom in acknowledging that. I am not. There's no way, because I'm not good at everything. I'm good at the things that I'm good at, and other people that I know are good at other things. And that's the reality, that we all are good at different things and we have different strengths. So why would I kill myself trying to do something that I'm not good at when I know other people who perhaps are better at that thing? Whatever it is. I am not enough. I am not enough to create all the things that I need in my life. I'm just not. Just like if we think back to communities before the Industrial Revolution, we can understand that there was different roles for people and that everyone lived in this interconnected, interdependent way. And the reality is that I think we're meant to live that way. We're meant to live in a way where we're all together. We're all working together and we're all in it together. When we tell people that they are enough, and I know it's not the intention, but it very much feels like, oh, well, your problems, you should be able to handle them. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I don't know if the video blipped there or not, but when people say that you are enough, and I don't think they mean it in a mean way, but it just sounds like pick yourself up by your bootstraps and just get over it and everything's fine. But it's not. It's not. Usually when people are feeling like they need to say that to somebody, that person's in distress on some level. They're going through a hard time. And I think it's our responsibility as the person hearing the message to be present for them and understand and maybe ask, like, say, is there something I can do for you? What would make you feel better? Maybe it's not even actually doing the thing for them, but helping them think through what they could do to feel better. What would be the thing that would make them feel better at that very moment? Would they like a cup of tea even? Anything that is an action. Because that's what we're supposed to do in this physical reality. We're supposed to take action. We're supposed to be. We're not just supposed to think and say. That's part of it, but we're supposed to be. We are supposed to enact our reality. And when we push each other aside and we act as if we're all just individuals, I mean, for one thing, it's very lonely, but it's also a place of weakness. And I think that we're supposed to be in a place of power. And when we're together, we're more powerful. There's that story that we all tell children, you have one stick and you break it very easily, but if you have a bundle of sticks, if you have 10, 15, 20 sticks together, it's very difficult to break those sticks. So I really believe that we should change that phrase to like take it as an opportunity to ask people for questions, or offer support on some level. Um, for me, it has been very difficult to ask for help. It's not part of the way that I was raised. And the funny thing is that I come from a society where people do live and work together, they help each other, and it's just part of the culture. People don't necessarily have to ask for help, it's just offered, it's there. And in return, the person receiving the help shows gratitude and honors that person's effort on some level. So, last week I had, asked for help, and I normally don't, but I did. And a friend stepped up and he said, "Hey, like I'll help you do this thing." And I said, "Great, thank you so much." Um, and it was such a neat experience because we actually talked about sort of this dynamic of interdependence and how it's missing from society here in the United States, and probably in a lot of the sort of quote unquote developed world. We have developed independence, which takes away from true strength. And there's a bigger social lesson there if you're really listening. Together you cannot be broken. So think about that on a deeper level, if you will. But from a just personal spiritual level, let's consider how so this man, he was very sweet. Our kids went to a program together many years ago, and he said, "Hey, I can help you." And I said, "Cool." And then he admitted that he wasn't particularly good at this task, and I said, "That's okay. I just need an able-bodied adult to help me complete it. I just cannot physically. I know how to do this other part of it." And so it was great. He said something really funny. He said, "Oh, I'll be your ape." I was like, "All right, cool." So he, um, lifted the things that I needed lifted in order for me to be able to build what I needed to build. And it was incredibly helpful. And in the meantime, I had made some soup for us, and he was so grateful that I had cooked. But I felt like that was the way I was raised. If somebody helps you, you try to do something for them, whether it's offering them a drink or just some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of honoring of their work for you, some sort of interchange of it. And I know my battery's low. Sorry. I know that he didn't expect anything in return. It wasn't that. It was just an honoring of his time. It wasn't a tit for tat or something transactional. It was something that I was raised to do. And I want to create more of those opportunities in my life here, even though it's not part of the cultural context, because I feel that, I mean, one, in asking for help, to me, that's a huge growth experience because that's difficult for me to do. But then I think even the more beautiful part was to be reminded of how good it feels when I help others and how my heart feels like it's expanding and I feel a lot of growth. And in that same way, I know my friend was very glad to come here. Our children were glad to play with each other, so they felt that they were fed, spiritually and emotionally by having this friendship rekindled. Everybody's bellies were fed, and this project that I couldn't have done on my own went much further than I would have been able to do on just by myself. And this other person felt very, very, I think, seen and respected and honored for his time and for his efforts. And I think that's a beautiful thing because I know that when people do that for me, that I I feel very alive and I feel very human. And I can't help but wonder if that is a lot of the reason why so many of us are walking around sad in this society, where we don't feel interconnected, we don't feel like we can ask for help, we don't feel honored, we don't feel respected, we don't feel part of a whole, a greater whole, or a community. And I feel as though phrases like "you are enough" or "I am enough" feed this lie. And they feed this idea that we're supposed to be able to do everything by ourselves, and we really cannot. And I really, really, really want us to consider that. And I would challenge you, if I may, that when you feel the urge to tell somebody, hey, you're enough, like, chin up, it's all good, you're enough. Or if you feel like telling yourself, darn it, I'm enough, stop. Stop for a moment. My challenge to you is to ask questions. It's to ask, what is it that I can do to be present for this person? What is it that I can do to hold space for this person? What is it that I can do to physically help this person? Is it, like I said earlier, offering a cup of tea, or potentially maybe even just doing a task with them, whatever it is that they're feeling overwhelmed by, but helping them process that and helping them be part of your life and you becoming part of theirs. And what you're doing is that you're really strengthening yourself by offering that help, because you're strengthening your community and your tribe and your people. None of us can do it on our own. There's no logic behind that. It's not the way humans were built, and it's not the way to strength. It's not the way to having an abundant life. When we have this exchange between each other, we have the opportunity to create this abundant life, this magical life that's interconnected, that can grow, that can become more, that is expansive. When we say we are enough, enough is not joyful. Enough is just what it just is. Why would we want that? I want us all to have joy. I want the world to be filled with love and with light. I really do. I always have. And when I say it out loud, I know it might sound very, very silly, but if you've known me personally for any period of time, even when I'm raging about something because I'm furious that XYZ happened and what an injustice it is or whatever, it all comes from a place of love. It all comes from a place of wanting people to experience love and justice and peace and compassion and connection. And I think that we all can create that a little bit at a time. So in our little small actions, I implore you to consider that we're all connected, that we're all part of a greater whole, and that we're supposed to be. And there's a beauty and a magic and bounty and abundance in that goes beyond any measure imaginable. So thank you so much for listening to me rant about my new least favorite word or phrase. And my son that I am cuddling with at the moment is reminding me to ask you to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, if it was helpful to you.
And subscribe.
And share and subscribe.
And link down below.
I guess I'm supposed to put links down below. I'm not quite sure what links I'm putting down.
To make more videos or make something else.
Yeah, well, there's definitely, the channel has more videos. Alrighty then. So have a great day. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Be well. Bye.